Back in business then, SK looking to find their feet. It's Cash again, a map that they have looked comfortable on, and they continue to do so, versus the Aussies. I have one joining me here as well, all the way from Sydney, Australia, I believe he flew from for this event.
Yeah.
Great to have you here, Chad. Yanko as well, both of our analysts are joining us.
We all flew from Sydney, ladies and gentlemen. That's the gag.
As he's from Perth, which is like 26 hours away from Sydney, if you went on a Segway.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We can ask Captain Mo about that one again. That's your second Segway joke.
Thank you very much. Right, it's your joke. I'm just saying Segway with a UE, and you're saying it with a W-A-Y.
Yeah, so the thing you ride. But straight into the game, Alex.
Let's ride the momentum into some analysis.
The Renegades had a retro T-side approach they're going on with the old mid-smokes, going for and they wanted to take it quickly, and that didn't work for them because the synergy between Fallen and Fur holding that middle part of the map, they had all the answers to mitigate any of that control.
I thought when you said they were going for that retro approach, you meant the 0 and 5 start, like when you were on the team.
Ooh, I just meant the moves, you know? Counter-Strike's a bit like fashion. Everything comes back in.
On that conversation, a question, and a genuine one. Boosting over the smoke in connector when the T's smoke connector and boost over it. We've seen Astralis doing it a lot recently. That's not Astralis' thing, is it? That's been around
an old
for
thing, man. That's been around. You see, the way that Renegades were trying to take middle there is what we were doing when I was playing.
Sure.
Which is almost 3 years ago at this point.
Fallen boosted over, peaking boost and stuff.
Not only that, you know, the way that Fur was playing the position when the smoke comes into the highway box, he's using a lot of utility HEs because he knows the boost player's coming. They do the damage and they back off. You don't even need to take that fight. The best thing that SK do is they use this map like a chessboard. If they lose middle, they take another piece. They take A main, they pop flash B aggression to take an AWP line. They make sure that they always have information. Because if Renegades get mid for free, even if they don't find any kills, and then on the other side of things, SK don't take any other information of the map, they're just sitting back waiting to be executed on. SK definitely didn't do that.
That's how the map is supposed to be played on the CT side, right? That's how, when someone says, oh, you can't play Cash, you can't hold mid if you're CT, you don't have to. I mean, if they use a lot of their resources, utility for mid, that means they won't have it for later on in the round. You just need to pick your fights better when it comes to Cash.
No, absolutely. And I think, at least my understanding of it is that though the result is very clearly SK biased, I do see a lot of Renegades like actually putting in some good work. Some of that pistol round was looking rather nice on the CT side. I like the run boost from Nifty. Like there was clear
pieces.
I evidently not the full story, but we did get to see elements of Renegades trying to innovate, trying to find an edge versus a very scary opposition.
I think the difference is, and Jason made a very good point during the cast, is the T side executes, right? The Renegades one seemed like all ins to just get the bomb site and get the bomb down, whereas when SK execute onto a site, it's to take duels, right? And the difference is when Renegades are defending and they got executed on, they would lose the initial exchange. SK would win the initial exchange, and then Renegades would have to trade. So the difference there when entering the bomb site is absolutely night and day. And I think it was one of the A takes that SK did where they smoked off the site. They didn't want to fight those defenders. They wanted to kill the rotators coming in and then deal with the other players who are basically isolated and stuck waiting for their teammates to back them up.
Now, there's not the only stream that's going on right now. We do have our match. We're going to be talking about our next map in just a moment. But we also have a secondary stream. It's brought to you by the likes of Snods, Jackie, and Hugo. But we do have an opportunity to check in with that stream now. It sounds like Stun has been watching it intently. Maybe we can bring him up. We can have a chat with him, see what our sideline reporter has got for us. Any juicy gossip for us, Trace?
Yeah, it's real juicy around here. It's so juicy that the CT side from Optic, oh, well, I don't need that. Anyway, the CT side from Optic was just a little overbearing, Alex. You know what? 16-4, 11-4 at half. That's a little rough.
That is painful. That's Optic versus Space Soldiers, so they just couldn't make it do anything.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, when I'm watching Optic sit down right now, even though they came away with that last victory just handedly, you could see there's still discipline. You know, you got the coach in their ear. They're pretty much laying down the law, saying, hey, you know what? Don't take it for granted. We're going to be going to the next map, and that one's going to be Nuke. So I don't know where that one fares.
How is Space Soldiers Nuke, Jet?
This is the pick from Optic, so Optic should take this pretty easily, right? I think Inferno was the first map, which was Space Soldiers, and they just got absolutely destroyed.
Last question to you, Trace, before we say goodbye. What is your feeling surrounding Optic when you saw that it became full Danish and lost that kind of Stanislaw and all of that stuff?
Well, ultimately, North America's no stranger to drama, so it was always interesting right from the get-go watching that one go down. Absolutely. But, you know, they figured it out. So the Americans are out and the Canadians out, and they brought in the Danes. And so now it looks like they've got it under control. Can you see?
Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? Take it away, Alex. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man.
Get out of here, Trace. Thank you so much. Yes. It's like, pull me out.
It's like you pulled him out of the parent father there.
It was like he was trying to pull the eject seat. He was trying to get out as fast as he could.
Or the Matrix. Get me out.
Get me out. Oh, my God.
Unplug.
Now that's a great scene.
Let's watch that tonight.
Yeah.
My room.
Media room.
I'm in.
Media room.
Guys, we just had a date. Okay, the date is set. I would like to start talking about Mirage a little bit as well, because now the Renegades, your Aussie friends, I feel like I've watched these guys play Mirage a great deal.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're going to still shatter my hopes and dreams and say this is a 2-0.
Well, it should be.
But talk to me, Mirage, this must be one of their comfortable.
Yeah, it should. They picked the map, right? So going into it, you should seem relatively confident. But I just think that their T side is a little bit too cookie cutter. It's the same kind of approach as what we see coming out of Optic yesterday, right? On their Mirage, they like to, sorry, Heroic, not Optic. They like to play relatively quick, you know, take the mid control, and then from there it should be easy to read. But when I was interviewing Dupree yesterday, he said that he felt SK are a team that's easy to read. That must mean that Renegades must be like a picture book for most teams, right? Because the way that their T sides progress is mid control, do another mid-round, do a fake, then maybe do an A execute. You know, it just seems like you can kind of predict what's going to happen. And unless that they can get the momentum rolling and make sure they stay on top of that CT economy, SK guys look on point right now, and Fur being on point is the scariest prospect in my mind.
Fur on Mirage, name a more iconic duo, especially on that CT side.
Well, it's different now, right? Because they swapped the positions. You know, he's playing Cat now, not playing Connector anymore. They have Stewie in Connector, so a different dynamic for SK on Mirage. But, you know, the problem here is for Renegades, you pick Mirage, and that's such a general map that unless you're mouse sports and you pick Mirage and you actually are a massive favorite to win that map, it seems a lot of the times, you know, it's relatively random in a sense that I don't see that Renegades have something similar to mouse sports where they figured out a new way or just doing the fundamentals much better than everyone else that could justify, yeah, this is our pick. You feel for a team like Renegades, they need to be very good on like a train or an overpass, you know, a map that they can get in the first round and that not everyone is going to be at least decent on. You're not going to play a team that's going to be terrible on Mirage.
That's why I think that the Dust 2 Gambit pick could have been a decent one, right? Because if they'd even just done a little bit of work on it, it might have been enough to beat an SK.
I just feel like it's scary to play against SK, though, on a map like Dust 2, you know, the double ops, the aggressive players like Fur and Stewie. I don't know.
If we have to look for silver linings, at least Azza and JKS are hitting shots, right? When they were getting down in those situations, like Aaron was entering onto bomb sites quite well. Justin in the mid-round scenarios was hitting a lot of shots, and the aim looked crisp. It didn't look shaky, which is a positive in these situations, right? It's not that they're just falling off and getting destroyed. When they took that pause and the camera was on Ustillo for a lot of that pause, that first one they took, I think they were 8-0 down or 7-0 down. Whatever point they're at where they took the pause, it looked like pretty distraught at that point, but obviously they collected themselves and managed to get 4 on the board in the first half. It's just, it's hard to see when SK is playing well, and to be fair, I painted a pretty bleak picture for the SK roster, but now Renegades not really giving us much to work with.
Is that a conversation you've had with Kasada at any point, Yanko, when you have you encounter him at the bar or whatever it may be, just asking him about the gym? Yeah, exactly, around the hotel, just asking him why not go for something outside of Mirage, Cash. You're naming maps, even Inferno. These are all maps in Renegades map pool, but also pretty much everyone's map pool.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because for them, you know, it's first what the players are individually comfortable with, and it's your changing rosters all the time. Those maps take more time. To be fair, they were a pretty good cobblestone team. They had that map going for them, you know, and that used to be their pick depending on the opponent and all of that stuff. Just unfortunately, it doesn't pan out anymore. And yeah, I think another problem for Renegades is what Chad pointed out, you know, Azza and JKS towards the later part of that first half, but you need both one of the entry players and one of the closers to do their jobs, right? You saw JKS a couple of times. He was in 1v3s. He was making it close, but it was too much of an ask for him. And Nifty, another very poor game for him. Only 3 frags in the first half, ended up with maybe 6 or 7, you know, but had 0 impact, really. And I think that's the big problem with him is it's inconsistency, you know. It's great, the Nifty 50 and that amazing stack, 43 and 5 in 25 round wins, right? That's insane. But that's nothing if you're going to have so many games where you're just nowhere to be found.
I will forever use that game as a definition or example of feeling it. I feel like that was in the zone. That was feeling it in Counter-Strike at the very peak of what that can do and what that helps you achieve.
Yeah, and we see more examples of that. Jacob needed to go absolutely beast mode yesterday against Greyhound just for them to get a win on Overpass, right? The guy was dropping, I think it was close to 40 kills in a regulation game, and he shouldn't be a carry player in this team. You're not bringing Jacob into the Renegades roster to be like, hey, dude, you're going to be the #1 star. So right here, right now, Nifty needs to pick up his trousers, get back into it, and put up some big numbers with that AWP, Alex.
All right, they're going to pull up their socks and try and win the first round with Glocks. Renegades taking on SK. It's our second map of our first game here for our third day. Jumping in with Jason and Elfish Guy.
Socks, Glocks, and trousers. We've got map 2 coming at you, and obviously Renegades down 0-1. If they lose this, they are eliminated. They're going home.
Yeah, that's not fun, is it? Wouldn't really be wanting to go home.
Not if you're Renegades. It'd probably be pretty fun if you're SK.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll see what Renegades can do here. This is their map choice. So in theory, they should have a bit of a better time than what they had on Cache. But the way that SK Gaming looked, and particularly what Chad said, Fer looking really, really good. I think that's posing a very, very scary question here for Renegades as we head into map number 2. But they have gotten control of mid. Now starting to have a little bit of an expedition into Connector. Fer's causing some problems there as well. It's just all happening all over the map.
Yeah, and this aggression from Fer is actually critically important. That's the bomb that he's going to slow down and stop. And if he gets this kill on JKS, the round is over, and there it is. Yep, it's done. Alza and Jacob are flanking through the window room, trying to get into this B bomb site, and it's just, it's not going to happen. There's too good of positions up in these halls, and actually, I don't know, for the moment, SK is actually not aware of the possibility, but there's the spot from Fer, and there's the one tap from Jacob. Bolts is still up there to hold the fort. He's got 1 kill, and now it's a 1-on-2.
Yeah, quickly rotating across though. Oh, Stewie goes down as well. Jacob, he's looking really good with the pistols and he's got 4 kills already. So he needs the ace to close this one out against Fallen and almost manages to find it. Just does a little bit of damage, but he doesn't want to overcommit to this one. And slowing things down. He knows where Fallen is roughly, but Fallen hits the shot. And Jacob can't quite do enough.
I don't know if Jacob realized he was in like a 1-on-1 there when he initially encountered Fallen. It looked like he looked out towards Market as if there was going to be one more player crossing over, but some beautiful shots from Jacob. But I mean, you want to talk about it. That's the impact that Fer can have, that kind of aggression. You can obviously tell he's feeling very confident. That, or maybe they just had a talk this morning. They're like, listen, guys, we've been sucking lately. Let's everyone just relax. Everyone just kind of take the pressure off yourselves and play very loose and have a good time. And you can start to see some of the effects of that. Fallen as well on Cache, having a very, very good performance. This has got to be worrying. This is another one of those maps as well where the double op setup can just be so effective, and we saw the damage it wreaked onto Renegades in the first map.
So the investment from Renegades and JKS, yeah, we'll see what he can do with this AK. It's a risky choice, I suppose, from Renegades, but if they want to fight their way back into map 2, they might as well start in round 2. They have every possible chance of making this one work, but it really all hinges now on JKS pushing forward with that AK, and the first kill goes the way of Stewie. JKS is down, and that means round over.
You never know, Nifty. Ooh, that's a nice recovery, but not able to do anything else. It is just too much to ask, isn't it? Yeah, but the AK-47 now going to go over towards SK. A nice couple kills for Nifty there. He was one of the highlights of the death, saying that he has to get involved in this game, and they're really, really going to need that op to be on point in this map.
Yeah, no buyout here for Renegades. So SK off to another good start. I will say it maybe wasn't quite as stampede-y. That's not a word, I know, but I hope
it can be a word. You're Australian. You guys have some weird words over there, so I feel like you have a little bit of a leeway in terms of making up silly words.
I actually made up a few words on broadcast at IEM City, and no one called me out for it.
Yeah, because no one knows what's real, what's a real word and what's not with your people.
Yeah. Well, the bomb goes down there for Renegades, so that's not too bad of a result in this round. An AK in the hands of Jacob as well, and some damage onto Fallen. So can Renegades make this one interesting? Well, the answer, not going to be as nice for Renegades as they would have liked it to be. But look, 2 kills, bomb down, only a Glock investment. Can't complain too much.
They're going to be very happy with that, obviously, especially when you combine it with the 2 kills in the previous round. So limiting some of the money that SK is going to build up in these opening exchanges. And we'll see what SK is going to bring into the fight. Renegades is going to have 5 AK-47s, but the utility is beautiful. Everyone has got every single nade they could possibly want. Looks like Fallen is going to upgrade to that AWP. So an early obstacle for Renegades to get around. Cold's Air doesn't quite have his. We'll see if they choose to go into a double op setup. We know they liked it on Cache. We've seen it here on Mirage previously as well. And Fallen is going to take that op towards the A bomb site.
Definitely do expect that we're going to see the double op out at some point, but this might just feel a little bit too early. Renegades quickly into mid, so too is SK, and it works out perfectly for the CT side. Fer and Stewie finding a killer piece, and Ustilo here looking for those trades. He'll get the first, but needs to be careful of the player, and does a lot of damage to himself. He's going to die.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, no.
The nade actually freezes him, it feels like, as well. Oh, SK, they just battering ram up mid. Look at JKS. This lurk could still do some work. Fallen behind the boxes, and Stewie not looking in this direction. Ozza finds him, and now it's up to JKS. They can very quickly turn into a 2-on-2. I don't think Fallen has any idea that JKS is out. It's all down to timing of when they peak. And, JKS doesn't spot the barrel. This is so awkward. This is so unfortunate for him, and Fallen should be able to find this kill. It's going to be a free one. That is tough. Obviously, JKS can't know how close that was, but just barely misses the barrel.
That's just Counter-Strike sometimes. It's a game of inches, a game of seconds, and JKS this time comes unstuck. It's just Azza in a 1v3.
Game of two halves?
Yeah, that's, well, maybe a game of 2 maps, 3 maps, hopefully for Renegades at least. Smoke down though from Azza, and Fair obliges. 4-0, the start for SK, and this is looking wildly familiar.
That's such a cool start from SK Gaming to go for that aggressive of a play at mid, and when you win it that dominantly as well, it just sends a message and it sets the tone for this game. And Renegades, I feel like they're going to be on the back foot because of that push for some time.
Give him in the head as well.
Yeah, right in the face.
Just to put insult to injury. Renegades, though, with a little bit of an investment into this round. They've got just the 2 smokes, but it does look like they're setting themselves up here for an A take.
Worked last time with just Glocks, right? They got 2 kills and they got the plant, so it looks like they're going to go back to it. This time it's a different defense. There was only 1 player playing a ticket booth previously and Fallen rotating with the scout. Now you've got coldzera at the ticket booth and you've got Stewie over towards jungle, and he's got an M4 and he's already here. Doesn't need to rotate over. He's not going to be locked out, although maybe with that smoke. See how he wants to push through it. Might not even matter. Damage is being done by coldzera and by utility. That'll help Stewie get aggressive if he chooses to, but for now they're content to just stop the plant.
It's much better from SK as well. Starting off with the first couple of frags really does put a doorstop there for the Renegades. But JKS and Azza, they've managed to find something here. No guns picked up, but the bomb will be going down. Or I lie. The grenade is going to deny it. Now JKS tasked with the 1v2 clutch. He's got the bomb. He's got an M4. He's got a bit of an interesting position here as well.
Holtz is aware of this possibility, though. JKS got a peek, spots the elbow, gets the dink. Not able to complete the frag, and that's a 5th for SK, but that got worrying. That turned around real quick. JKS and Azza both getting aggressive, respectively, towards ticket booth and towards connector and finding their kills.
Well, it is really such a sense of deja vu, isn't it? We're at 5-0 now for SK Gaming, starting off on the CT side. Their rounds haven't been hugely solid. Their economy's being kept low, and Renegades, they're still in a position to be able to come back straight away into this map. They weren't able to do it on Cache. They got off to a far too great of a lead for SK, but there's still the same scenario here for Renegades. If they can find another couple of rounds here quickly, they can always just claw their way back in.
They did get destroyed on the previous gun round, so I think they're going to want to have some success. Here's going to be the boost up on Catwalk. Fur on top of the boxes, peering over the smoke for now. Will anyone from Renegades be aggressive enough for him to pick them off? And none of them want to move forward until Azza's quite ready and underpass. Now this boost does get checked quite frequently. It's not exactly the most sneaky thing in the world. I think teams have started to expect that, but a team flash isn't going to help Jacob come down. He's not feeling too comfortable, and there it is. Fur's able to find that kill easily and just fall back with the man advantage. An opening kill again to the Brazilians.
Yep, just every single kill going the way of SK right now. At least the opening ones are. And Stewie's in a good spot. Azza can't get anything done there. Does get a bit of damage across, and the trade comes out from JKS. But a trade is not good enough for Renegades right now. It still puts us at a 3 versus 4. Justillo wins the duel against Bolts, though. That pegs it back to a fairly balanced scenario. And the molly will deny Fur, which means the bomb can rotate across a little bit easier. But still quite a lot needed to be done here by the Renegades. The bomb has to actually cross into the site. Fur's managed to lurk his way up to the ticket box.
coldzera patiently waiting. The bomb is going to go down. First spotted Nifty right after the plant. The nade's going to come out, not deal too much damage. Molotov is next. That's an AWP in his hand. Great flick from Nifty. Just barely saw Fur on our screen. And now Justillo can be patient, but he's going to move forward right into the crosshairs of coldzera, spamming Nifty down to about 58 HP. Another Molotov is coming out, but Nifty stops that, and JKS right through the corner of the box gets Renegades there first.
Nifty coming out with really some absolutely critical frags there. That second one as well onto, I can't remember who it was in the jungle, I think it was Fur. If he throws that incendiary out and Nifty's still sitting under balcony,
yep,
that's basically game over for Renegades. But yeah, it's looking a lot better for Nifty already. To be fair, he didn't do anything on Cache, so it's not hard to look better, but it's good early signs at least for Renegades for Nifty.
That first shot over the Molotov towards CT spawn, I didn't even see the player on my screen, on our screen. That was really, really good.
I think Nifty is really the catalyst of Renegades when they have an absolutely massive performance. You know, you do see JKS and Azza going off pretty crazy sometimes, but typically it has been Nifty or in the past NAF who has really pulled Renegades through these incredibly tough matches. for example, Inferno.
I mean, a lot of teams are like that, though, right? A lot of teams just transform to a whole new level when you have an Alper who's kind of feeling the game and he's on point and he's hitting his shots. It can be such a critical thing, especially an Alper like Nifty, who we've seen. I think it's partially because he's the in-game leader, kind of shy away from trying to find more opening picks and opening kills. He wants to kind of play more passively so he can kind of control the early stages of the rounds. The Alpers that rely on the mid-round to have their impact, it really changes the landscape if he gets involved. If he has players like JKS and Ozzy providing space. Here's Fallen with a shotgun, pop flash. They don't check it. They don't check it at all. He's behind 3 of them. He's behind 4. He's going to wait. And there's one shot. It doesn't get the kill, and that might have been his undoing, but still alive. And now he's created a second front for Ozzy to fight. It's so difficult. Eventually does take him down, but the bomb is planted in a 3-on-3.
Well, you've got to be a little bit nervous about that one if you are Renegades. He could have done so much more work. In the end, bit of luck on both sides, I suppose, and it goes the way more so for Renegades, I think, than really for SK, but now they find themselves still in a tough position. 1 versus 3 now for Azza, and he did have a good performance on Keish. I'd say the best of the Renegades players, but this is a very tough task ahead of him, and he'll get the first shot across. A good shot onto Bolt, but already on the defuse. Oh, the CTs. That molly isn't going to do enough. There's a smoke available for SK, and Stewie shuts down Azza. An immediate response out from SK Gaming. It could have been much worse for Renegades, but in the end, it's about as bad as it needs to be.
Oh, just that one team flash. Everyone from Renegades was relying on that first player to clear the corner. Because he's blind, he doesn't do it, and they just all assume it's clear. Fallen has a great position. Typical of the Mag 7, though, that first shot where you feel like it should have just killed the player outright, and it just tags him down a little bit. That was probably a moment of panic for Fallen right here.
And it gets fully flashed and still hits the second. That's pretty impressive, actually.
I still don't know how that first shot didn't just straight up kill Nifty.
I mean, yeah,
it's insane that he even had to take a second one, but...
Preaching to the choir right now.
Well, Stewie and coldzera should be able to feast. Renegades have had some decent success getting into this A bomb site with just the pistols.
Not this time.
Not at all this time. coldzera with 4, even taking Azza out of the sky with the USP from range.
All right. Well, Renegades, they've managed to peg 1 round back. Can they do it again? It's time for them to start getting that ball rolling, if they're going to get the ball rolling at all. Otherwise, it's going to be too little too late. SK Gaming, they're already off to that 1-map advantage, now up 7-1 on the second map. This is an all too familiar scenario, really, for, I think, Australian fans and for Renegades as well. They do so well, and then the next tournament, things kind of just don't really stick for them.
This is the thing, though. They can't, you're exactly right. They can't afford this slow start. This is an elimination game. You need to get on the board, and you need to do it right now, and they're not even having success in individual rounds. They're looking better on the pistol rounds than they are on the gun rounds. Nifty, scoped in, isn't even aware of the push from Fur. And we're about 10 seconds into this round, and there's already 4 players gone for Renegades, and it's already over.
It's just falling apart right now for Renegades. They can't seem to get anything. I know I've been saying that pretty much all day, but they just... It doesn't seem like they're playing on the same level as SK, and they're certainly not playing to the same level that we saw at IEM Sydney.
I think the problem is this is a team that I think lends itself to getting very quiet. If you like the personalities of these players, and you'll probably know a little bit better than me, but from their time in NA, they are players who aren't exactly the most boisterous. They aren't the most emotional, and when you get into an 8-1, when you're just getting battered at this level, everyone goes quiet.
Go back into their shell, and sort of nothing happens.
This is where you need. I assume we're going to see a timeout here from Renegades before the next gun round at the very least. Maybe even JKS just hiding in this corner, maybe having that kind of discussion, maybe letting that kind of discussion go on. Just buy some extra time for the talks. He's going to be blinded. 35 seconds on the clock, and there's no good answer of what you can do here if you're JKS. It's a long time to try and save. Losing bonus isn't really built up all that much, and Fallen puts him out of his misery, perhaps mercifully.
Yeah, what you need to see right now for Renegades is someone to really stand up and lead from the front, whether it be Nifty, like we saw against Mouse Sports, or someone like JKS having a big clutch or something like that. Just something to give a bit of life to the Renegades right now, because they really do seem lifeless on the T side.
Give them something to cheer for. It's just anything to feel hopeful about. Pistols back again. No armor this time for Renegades. They're just saving up everything they can. 1 smoke, 1 HE grenade on JKS and Azza. We'll see where that ends up going. Smoke used just now, likely for the window as it rolls in. And it's going to probably be a fast split towards connector. It looks like Stewie's going to back off. Fallen's going to rotate around Fur on Catwalk to support, and he wants these kills. He's going hunting. As we know, Fur loves to do. He's got 3. He can go for all 5, but he's shut down eventually. Stewie's going to finish things off, and what a deadly little pairing that's been in middle throughout this first half.
Yeah, the money's looking really good right now for SK Gaming as well. So Renegades, to get their way back into this half, they pretty much going to be fighting against gun rounds for the next 5. There's going to be a tactical pause out here from Renegades. They've got plenty of cash. Nifty can't afford the AWP. This is one of their best chances that they have left.
I think you're right. I mean, maybe not in reality, but like you need to get started if you're Renegades, right? Like they're gonna have at least one more buy round, but if you want to have, like remember what we saw in Cash, right? They didn't even have a chance to kind of get started in that second half. They didn't really have any mistakes to give up right from the get-go. Yeah. And they need to give themselves at least that opportunity. They had the chance on Cash, and they weren't able to seal the deal. Here on Mirage, the tough part is, at this stage on the first map, they at least had the economy low for SK. They at least had him in that reset position, and it's not even close to that here. Everyone from SK is over 5,000, even some players flirting with 8,000 or 9,000.
Renegades setting us up for something a little bit different this time. Haven't seen the execute out so far in the gun round. Stilo is going to be, again, leading the charge. He'll spot a player out, but Stewie manages to lurk through the smoke and doesn't get a frag. That could have been disastrous for the Renegades, but still a 1-for-1 trade. Bolts again, coming in with an impact for SK. He'll be dropped. The Renegades, they make this take work. There is a rotation coming around the back, though, for Fur, and that could still be a game winner for SK.
There's going to be a gap in the smoke for coldzera to play with, and this could be brutal. He's looking for it. They're spamming through, and he's actually been spotted. Now you can see Nifty gets off the plant, but they're both blind, spraying through. Nothing connects. Fur, on the meanwhile, coldzera's going to back off and let this flank come to fruition. JKS considers it, will Jacob. And when does Fur turn the corner? He does now as coldzera makes some noise, and he pounces perfectly. The communication, the coordination is so good from SK, and Renegades can't handle it.
Yeah, even when they find themselves with a bomb site, a 4 versus 3, and the post plant, well, it wasn't really set up, but the Renegades, they just can't find anything even when they have such massive advantages. Fur comes around with such a long rotation. No one from Renegades is aware of it. And another round goes the way of SK. So this is just Renegades not playing the same game as SK.
It's kind of the end game of Fur being so confident and having so much success with his aggression throughout this half, is he's just going to keep doing it. We see it across multiple different maps, and if you can't shut him down, that's eventually what's going to happen. If we go back to that, though, I love the play call from Renegades. Fast-paced towards the 8 bomb site. You kind of take the decision-making out of it. You have players who probably are losing their focus a little bit, feeling a little bit depressed, do a high-energy tactic. Don't let them make any poor decisions. Just let them get in and play with their instincts. And they actually have success to get into an advantage post-plant. But again, that flank just coming through is just brutal.
I just don't think they were getting the bomb down quick enough either. Obviously, there was that hole in the smoke we talked about. And that was a big problem for Renegades. Yep. In the end, we saw the bomb plant did go down, but 2 subsequent frags went the way of SK straight away. So, already not off to a good start here in round 12 is Renegades. As Stewie's again found himself that first frag playing around connect up. He's going to look for a little bit more. I think he might have spotted Jacob there. He's just going to get out of there alive as well. You still can't find the trade.
Ooh, that's a nice find from JKS, and tries to lurk out a little bit more. Look at Fur, though, and he's still being aggressive. He can still hound this, but Renegades have found themselves once again into the 8 bomb site. This time they have much more advanced positions to cut off rotations. There's only really one avenue SK can come from, and that's CT spawn. Fur's going to have to be patient coming through that murder hole.
This is certainly looking a lot better for Renegades despite not having that player advantage. The post plant is better. The bomb goes down faster. And SK still on the rotation by the time Renegades has set themselves up. But Fallen hits an important shot onto Nifty. And now it's just the 2 advanced players on the bomb site for Renegades that have to deal with this retake. Fur does go down, and that's an important win actually for Jacob. It does leave him alive, and he's in an important spot. Ustilo gets a kill onto coldzera as well. And Fallen tapping away with the pistol. Not sure that he really has time left to play with here. As Ustilo just jumps up the stairs, and finally around goes the way of Renegades again. Up to, what, 2 now? So
second round, yeah, still
one.
Yep, still obviously have to claw back massively in this game. Have the op that can pass back over to Nifty as well. They've kind of been in that situation where they can't really save for one. They just have to keep buying the AK-47s, even if you can't afford an op, just to get rounds on the board. At least one more solid buy from SK, and it could be 2 if they save appropriately, if they ever get into that situation. We'll have to find out. At this juncture in the game, there is only 1 opening kill for the Renegade side. They have only won 1 opening fight.
That's not a pretty picture, is it? I guess that's what happens when you're down 10-2. It could be a little bit dangerous here for Azar as well. I think that, who is it? Fur is quite close by in the underpass. No, he's on short. I lie.
Always tricky, those
little
underpasses. This is different. Goldzera is going to be up on top of the balcony waiting for a palace push. He's going to hear those footsteps from Nifty as well. So he's got information that at least someone was in palace and someone's falling back. And actually that might have lured him into a peek, and it does. Misreads the situation. JKS was waiting. Big advantage. No one's rotated over to help Fallen, who actually progresses deeper into the bomb site. He's going to be stuck with an AWP. This is not a wieldy weapon in this scenario.
And too slow into Darks. Yustilo does go down. Fallen. Somehow he's still alive. Azza and Nifty stabilizing things a little bit for the Renegades, but they were very slow on getting that kill on Fallen, and they knew where he was as well. In the end, 3 versus 2 in the A bomb site. They're not going to be complaining about it, regardless of how it did come about. JKS has pushed himself quite far forward as well, but he's been spotted by Bolt up on the ticket booth. And if he doesn't hit the shot with the AWP, Bolts is again coming into this bomb site, again having an impact for SK. He'll go down though to Azza, and it's just on first. Stellar shot though, as he drops Azza. And now in the 1v1, Nifty with the AWP, playing aggressively, but Fur still manages to find the headshot. And again, SK, they manage to secure a round. Renegades, it seems they can't get anything happening.
Oh, another post plant goes the way of SK, and this is looking much, much better. If you look at some of the SKs that we've seen in these previous tournaments, some of the areas in which they've seemed deficient compared to previous lineups of this SK, previous eras, has been their post plants have not been nearly as solid. They're back again to just being dominant in these over Renegades at the very least, which is a good start. Fur with a great 1-on-2, the beautiful shot on Azza inside the bomb site, and obviously Nifty just at a disadvantaged position with that AWP, the smoke down, not sure where Fur is going to be coming from. You have to say as well, the first thing that got that retake started is the flashbang from Fur. We can focus on the kills all we want, but the flashbang Fur throws from connector that allows Bolts to peek up in towards the bomb site to get that opening kill in the 2 versus 3. That's what really makes the success possible.
Yeah. Setting ourselves up for an even more difficult second half here for Renegades than they faced on Keish. Trying to make their way into the B site, but Bolts is holding far too strong right now. Really having a good game here, not just on Keish, but on Mirage as well. In a 4v2. Well, there's an M4 for Yustilo, but I'm not so sure he's going to have enough. Indeed, he does not. 12 up for SK. Looking for that number 13, which would be a super dominant first half. Not that 12 isn't, but it just puts another nail in the coffin.
It's more dominant. You know, why not just run the score up? SK wanting to get to that next match, wanting to get to it quickly, wanting some rest before that later BO3 to decide their playoff fate. Looks like Renegades their hopes and dreams for playoffs are going to come to an end rather abruptly. 12-2, double up setup. Fur has one. Fallen has the other. Fur's going to be in connector. Fallen will be in window, so both zoned in. We'll see what comes from this. Fur's going to drop back down, avoids the spam coming through the smoke, and Renegades almost, they have the smoke up at the base of Catwalk, but they almost don't want to mess with it. Fur's going to buy himself an extra 6 or 7 seconds to peer towards the top of mid with that Molotov, and still no one from Renegades has moved, and they're running out of nades.
I'm not sure I'd want to be challenging Fur in the form that he is in right now, even if he does have an AWP, which he's not necessarily known for. Jacob, though, does go down, and like you said, Renegades running out of grenades, running out of players now as well.
They have far too much respect over to SK that round. They had the smoke needed to cross, and they didn't utilize it, and you seeing the utility that they have, you can't let anything go to waste. A little bit scared of the aggression that they've been punished by throughout this half. SK has trained them well.
Well, as up, he's going to have a look into mid here. He's going to be the one that can really make or break this round for Renegades. Obviously, they can get those entries to the A bomb site. That would be lovely, but I'll have to avoid that retake. And right now, with a player disadvantage, it's a really, really difficult one for Renegades. They do have a few smokes, though, that they can use here. If they manage to get the A bomb site, they can hold off the retake a little bit longer with that. But 25 seconds on the clock here. Renegades need to make their move. The flashbang out from SK does result in a frag. Fallen and Fur coming up with the goods. Goldzera remains unchecked. He's going to get the bomb dropped as well. Nifty does manage to get himself 1 or 2 with the AWP, but there was just too many SK players there. And it's 13-2 at the end of the first half. Renegades, I think we might be saying goodbye.
Yes, it's looking that way. Renegades has a very tough offensive half. Actually, just a very tough day in general on offense, as Renegades has only secured themselves 6 rounds total on both of their offensive halves in this series so far, which is just not good enough against a team like SK, who's looking like they're having at least some kind of small resurgence and back to that dominance that we know. Sometimes it just takes a win like this to kind of get the engine running again. SK 13-2 as they switch over to the T side. It's been a great series overall for Fur, great series overall for Bolts as well, but everyone, I mean, we talked about Stewie and coldzera had a very quiet map on Cash just because they weren't really tested all that much. They've really picked up the pace here. They've been tested a lot at that A bomb site and they've responded. 16 kills for Stewie, 15 for coldzera, but it's the aggression from Fur that has netted him 20 kills that has been the thorn for Renegades.
He's had an absurd series, really. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at the stats after this one, but he has been the front runner for SK on both maps. Well, now for Renegades, down quite a lot of rounds. Pistol is super, super important. Otherwise, their tenure here in Dallas is going to be over. They've started off well. Ustilo and Azza, in fact, actually just Ustilo really stepping up here. What a shot. 4 kills for Ustilo. Well, that's, well, I guess a good start. But it's a start. That's all that it is.
Needed it, right? I mean, it is kind of the old, or the stereotypical thing where it's just like one round at a time, right? And that is the first round that you focus on. Great shots from Ustilo. Headshot there. Follow-ups as they line up for him, a little bit fortuitous. And then this one's nice right at the end. The one tap, the last bullet in the chamber. 13-3 for SK Gaming as Renegades attempting to make a comeback off this pistol round.
Not so sure it's...
Do you have faith?
Absolutely not. I wish I could say yes, but...
Oh, it's always so lovely when
the dreams have been crushed.
A broken man can't even
I'm sure
cheer.
you've been there before.
We've all been there before. We've all been there before.
Look, I mean, they're 10 rounds down. Second map, having lost the first map, we haven't really seen anything from Renegades that leads me to believe that they can make this happen. I mean, Azza had an okay performance on Keish, but no one really stepping up here at all for Renegades on Mirage. You know, if Nifty was going crazy with the AWP, or if JKS has picked up a couple of nice clutches, you could maybe try to formulate a very biased argument, but I don't think that that's the case here for Renegades. I think they're all done.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. There were a couple signs of life out of Nifty early on in the game, but it felt like he didn't really have the AWP in his hands often enough in that first half. I mean, they were just getting battered left and right, and he never really could afford it. They just had to keep kind of buying and giving themselves more attempts. Even when he did had it, the one round that he was falling with the shotgun from behind that they didn't clear the corner. Another round, I think, was the Fur flank coming in. So he's had a really tough series here. SK Gaming, they haven't really done much. They spread out, they look for pushes. Now they're going to use the utility that they do have to try and hit this A bomb site. coldzera going to lurk in mid, Fallen tossing some utility, smokes out. Jacob blocked off for the moment. It's only JKS who's kind of isolated. Jacob biding his time to come through this smoke when contact is made, and it works out perfectly. Him and JKS get the first 3 kills.
Well, that's what you want to be seeing for Renegades. JKS not going down early. If he would have, could have been problems. But Renegades, they come through with 3 guns. Not too bad of an anti-force bite. SK not able to get too much done there. It'll be the pistols out this time for SK, just the Glocks. Maybe a P250 here or there, but...
Those 2 kills aren't very valuable if you don't get the plant to go along with it.
Exactly. So Renegades will be happy with that. But again, it's only just the start. We can't even really talk about the comeback until Renegades get up to 9, 10, 11 sort of rounds.
Yeah, Renegades playing like a dead Quokka. Is that how you say it? Quokka?
Quokka. Quokka.
It's a grim image.
Yeah, that's a little bit grim indeed. It's a bit harsh. Poor Quokka.
Listen, I made a point of seeing the Quokka when I was at the zoo.
People were probably like, what the hell is a Quokka?
It's an adorable little animal. Stilo's got the information deep into those B-halls. And I mean, this is SK. You almost feel like they just want to get this round over with. No armor, just some light pistols. I think it's only, the one P250 that coldzera currently has that they really have that's any danger. And they're playing it like it's a major championship, which I guess is fair play.
Make the Renegades sweat.
Make them think about it.
Yeah.
Just let their eyes dart up to the scoreline as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Just make them just worry about things for a little while. Think, what's going on here? SK might have something for us. Ustilo is going to be the one with the lion's share of the work to do, but Jacob's opened up nicely. coldzera kills his teammate. I'm the captain now, he says. And there's just 2 players left for SK. Not really much coming of this round from them so far. They're in the hands of Stewie, though. That could make things interesting. So he does get the kill onto Azza, and Nifty holding with a USP, no armor. Not sure what's going on there. But in the end, Renegades do manage to close the round out. I guess Nifty is looking to get as much money into the next round as possible, but that could have been a little bit dangerous.
Could have gotten there, but they avoided for now. Nifty's going to have that AWP. Still have a chance to get started here, and obviously we got to go back to it. If they want a chance of coming back, that AWP has to be on fire from the get-go. It all starts here for Nifty. It all starts here for Renegades. And yeah, coldzera taking out Fallen. He's tired of this shared in-game leading.
Yep. Showing him who's boss.
Who's your daddy now, Fallen? coldzera is going to jump across the boxes at top mid. Nifty's got that AWP on catwalk. He'll have a chance to get involved. I think he's going to be pretty safe with it, a conservative style, as he knows he got there a little bit late, and I think they probably called out that coldzera already crossed over, so he's going to have to be cautious either way. But with coldzera in that position, the rest of SK readjusting towards T-spawn, towards that A-bomb site. Fer going to be coming through underpass.
This is going to exert quite a bit of pressure on Renegades. So rotation does come across, and it is actually going to be Fer deciding not to go through the underpass. He's going to wrap all the way around and rejoin his team. So it'll be a little while before we see those fireworks out onto the A-bomb site, but it is quite sure to be the A site now, as SK have set themselves up there.
Only one Molotov on SK. It's on Stewie. I imagine that's going to be for under balcony, so Jacob should be safe here, but bolts could clear him out or at least keep him pinned in.
3 players on the A site right now for Renegades, and SK still holding off, lurking up through this smoke. It'll be an explosion off the back of a single flash. No pre-tell from SK, and JKS answers well. Jacob there as well, managing to get himself a frag, and that's looking much better for Renegades. Not allowing SK any sort of opening in the A-bomb site, but there is still potential for SK to make something happen here. Fallen close with the AK. He's going to peek right into Nifty. That all but shuts the round down now, as coldzera doesn't have the bomb, doesn't have time. He doesn't have much HP either, so Renegades, they're going to survive for another one.
I think coldzera is going to want to die before this timer runs out. I don't know if there's any real great value in him saving the AK-47 into the next round. But he's not moving. 6 seconds left on the clock. I think he just wants to get a kill, but Renegades wisely not really chasing. They want to solidify their economy before they go for it, so coldzera will bring the AK-47. And I think the best that SK Gaming would do, the next round they'll have the full losing bonus if they're not to win this one, so a half buy around this. AK-47, some armor, some pistols, but a good hold from Renegades and that crossfire. A big first kill from inside the bomb site. I think that was JKS with the Famas take out that opening player, which allowed Jacob the time to pounce and get that one more kill. Not enough utility to kind of clear out that position. So 6-13. And here are those armor and pistols, but you're going to rely on coldzera to find something with that AK-47. Stewie's got a scout. coldzera with one smoke, but he's got a chance here. If he just takes this duel straight up into the A-bomb site, Stewie spots one, goes for the shot, not going to hit it. coldzera's held off by smoke for the moment. But it is just JKS here, and Renegades has to be careful of falling back because of this gap.
Yeah, absolutely would not be counting SK out of this one just yet, though. Stewie going down, that does make me feel a little bit more confident here for the Renegades. 4 versus 5. First managed to get his way up into connector here. Hasn't spotted that cross from JKS, but it's a 1-for-1 trade on the A-bomb side. SK starting to make some inroads into this round. The bomb not going to be an easy plant, though, for SK at this point. Renegades have rotated across. Nifty does get the shot across onto coldzera, and Fallen hits a very, very nice double dig onto Nifty. Finds himself an AK here as well, so Renegades in a 2v2.
I don't know if it's more SK that they found success or more Renegades that they've allowed this to occur. Somehow SK has created something from nothing. Fallen with an AK-47. He doesn't have armor, unfortunately. Bolts does. They're both going to book it over towards the B bomb site. I don't think Fallen's going to slow down. He'll be the lead, and I think maybe Bolts is going to stick around today just to make some kind of a distraction right before Fallen turns the corner, but no, Fallen hits the pause button. Yustilo's now coming over. He realizes the possibility, and that might be the whole game. Yustilo might have the winning play. As he gets out of market and closer into the bomb site, he can just play for time as well. Now he's going to hear footsteps, and Fallen can't possibly clear all this fake plant. There's Yustilo making his play, and Fallen can't win it. That would have been huge if he was able to do that, but too much silence across the map gives Yustilo the idea of what's happening, and
it's not over just yet. If Bolts finds this kill, okay, now it's over. If he found that kill straight away, something could have happened. In the end, he doesn't quite manage it. Yustilo survives.
It's smart from Yustilo as well to play it in that fashion, because obviously you can take that fight and you have every advantage. You know, CZ, Scout against the M4 inside the bomb site. He's got to run and everything. But, you know, you risk going down and giving a chance to win. But if he plays the time like he did, his teammate can just, you know, not even expose himself, and you've already won the round. 7-13, Renegades, still a long way to go before we call it a comeback. But they're getting there. They're building into something. Another obstacle here is another gun round coming out for SK. coldzera's got the AWP on this T side. He's going to lead the way in middle, completely blinded. Misses the shot.
Showing some presence, though, in mid at least for SK. Jacob's going to have a bit of a peek and see if he can figure out what's going on here. But inevitably, Renegades are going to have to give this one up. SK are really investing quite a bit. If he's still having a bit of a look in, he's flashed off the line. There's a chance. Nope, doesn't quite spot that third player on the cross. So, SK, they've achieved what they set out to do. Now they need to figure out what they want to do past this point.
Nifty's doing his best to find something early on in these rounds, but SK does a great job of using their utility to neutralize them. Now, the other side of that coin, obviously, is that you've got a couple players now without any kind of useful utility. Fallen, Stewie, and coldzera all depleted. Fallen's got a decoy with that op, so that can do something cool. But Nifty will get action regardless. They're coming right at him, and coldzera just takes off his head.
That's not fun at all if you are Nifty going down to a Galil like that.
And Jacob cannot lose his focus in that fashion, just casually walking back, knife in hand. Ozza now exposed for the trade, and this is all collapsed for Renegades.
Yeah, JKS needs to win this duel against Bolts, but it seems like it's not even going to be a duel as Bolts finds the timing. In a 1v4, you still owe... Look, this isn't going to be the end of the map for Renegades, but it might as well be. Renegades don't really have the money to buy into this round.
I think they have to. You can't let SK get up to 15 at this point. We saw it on Cash. They let him get to 15, and having to win 9 in a row, 8 in a row is just as bad. You have Ozza who can drop an AWP over to Nifty. So, I mean, around that, I think you kind of have to buy here. Not going to. Actually, they are. Excuse me. Nifty does have that all.
I guess you have to. But like, it's not going to be the kind of a buy you want when you're facing down this sort of a situation. So
it's a situation of the game where you can't really have a wrong answer, right? Like, it's kind of unfair to criticize them either way. You kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
The problem there for Renegades is that there is no right answer.
Yeah.
So they either force buy with a kind of a weird force buy, or they save and then they put it through to 15. It's like, it's a lose-lose situation, really. Unless they win.
Oh, speaking of a lose, ooh, hello, JKS. That's not bad. He's going to go recover the weapon. Fallen. Oh, this is a move that only Fallen makes. What a dick! Oh, he misses the shot! Woo. JKS. And he even, like, took his hands off the mouse and was like, holy hell.
Goodness me. Well, that's a little bit of an interesting passage of play there, but JKS has gotten away with murder. A kill through the smoke, and then gets that flick onto Fallen as well.
Oh, you love to see it. Renegades still alive here. Now you have a double op setup. Jacob's got one, Nifty the other. JKS transitioning his UMP into an AK-47 as well. They're looking solid. coldzera is in a position to assassinate Ustilo if he can find that timing, and at least brings him down very low. Fur makes his move now. He's gonna get in a battle with JKS, who's kind of checking this. Actually, JKS has stopped that exact play now a couple rounds. 2 or 3 to be exact throughout this half. And coldzera being shot at from behind by Ozza, and this is kind of just the last vestiges of SK Gaming as they try and work their way into the A bomb site. It's not panning out the way they would have liked. Stewie still deathmatching in the open, but goes down eventually.
What a weird round that was, but Renegades will be happy with how it has played out. They've picked up the second AWP, and now their money is looking a little bit better. SK might even go on an eco here. It could be the sort of forced hero buy for SK. They do have the rounds to play with. So we have a tactical pause out for the moment, and this will just be SK deciding what they want to do. As of yet, they haven't invested into this round. They can get 3 full rifles through, 3 full buys. There are 2 players that aren't really going to have enough. And I mean, I feel like right now, if you're SK, forcing into this round is not actually the worst of decisions.
No, it's really not. Obviously, if you're SK and you get a reset, if you demolish the Renegades economy at any point during this half, right, you usually think that's going to give you 2 rounds at the very least, because Renegades is going to have to save. So you keep that money low. If you keep grinding it down, then obviously as soon as you reset it, you have a huge chance to just take the map right there. That one helps a lot for Renegades, though. 4 players surviving. They get a free AK-47. They get a free AWP out of it. They don't have to spend a lot of money. They get to build some up. So SK would love to do some damage here, and they have all the tools necessary. 3 AKs, 2 CZs, and this time they're going to do 4 players towards this A-bomb site.
JKS, again, is going to be...
He'll be tested.
Hanging around Palace. He's got the UMP. He's got the smoke. It's a setup. It's a deja vu round here for JKS. Let's see what he can do. Gets the first. That's the bomb spotted as well for the Renegades. JKS has done well. He survives, gets out, and allows his teammates to do the rest of the work. That's the round over. SK, they're not going to be able to get anything done from here. It could have gone worse. It definitely could have gone either way, but
Yeah.
JKS is happy.
He had to have known after the previous round they're going to come right at him. He had to have known. He just said, like, like look at the ways they challenged me. They're gonna go back for this once again. I do have a problem with SK if you're going to force buy this, that your strategy is a pop flash through one pop flash through a smoke at about like 1:20 left in the round. It's always it's always one of those things where it's disappointing. You've invested so much into this, right? And if you're going to try and grind down this economy, you're going for kind of a sneak, cheeky play. That's something you do if you really don't have a lot of utility across your players.
Yep. Name of the game now, though, for SK is to just do some damage economically to Renegades. You have a look at the money on the side of the CTs. They're still really not quite that happy. Not very rich just yet. And Furs managed to find a kill. Doesn't quite get the second. Had a chance there onto Jacob, though. It's just Cold Zero left alive now. But if he can even get another gun out of their hands here, at least they've managed to salvage something out of the round, as opposed to just being completely washed out of it. But he's only got himself a CZ. Has an interesting position, though. Not sure that the Renegades are going to be really aware of this.
I'm confused. Did Renegades not realize that they had the bomb down on top of the balcony? Because they had so many players rotate over towards the B bomb site when Fur was spotted in those holes.
I don't know. Seems strange. Like, if it's stuck in that corner, I guess maybe you don't see it. But JKS should have spotted it.
That's what I would have thought. Either way, it doesn't matter. They only lose one player. So Renegades inching closer as SK. I mean, that kind of a tactic. You allow so many players to survive on the Renegade side. Now you have to be a little bit more cautious. And keep in mind as well, there's only one round one in this half for SK Gaming. This has been a 7-1 run for Renegades, so their defense as well looking strong. And now with the solid economy behind it, SK Gaming has to play a bit more conservatively. You can't really keep the pressure up in terms of some of those force buys because the money's not going to be low.
And we're starting to see Renegades make some moves of their own. Now, obviously, this is just against the Pistols, but Jacob, he's at least got the confidence to have a bit of a look in here to top mid. We'll go down, but JKS is there to bail out. SK, they're still doing some damage to Renegades here, but the bomb's not at the B-bomb site, so crisis averted, at least for the moment, for Renegades. But we've seen this situation a few times.
Oh, that's so close to Taza going down, and you get an op in Fallen's hands, and anything can happen, but Nifty, thankfully, shuts him down quick.
Is it time to start talking about the C word?
Let's give it
9, 10, 11 rounds. Well, we're at 10.
Let's give it this round. This is
Okay.
It's a gun round for SK, and after this, we'll call it.
This could be the most classic of Caster's curses right now.
Depends on which Australian C word you're talking here.
Yeah.
14-10. Here we go. This round so far. I think that's one of the good things to point up is with this kind of a rise in the performance of Renegades, they've certainly started to get more confident and more aggressive and start going deeper into this defensive playbook to give SK a tough time. And it has been a tough time. And look at Nifty now. Aggression towards the new angle. He's going to watch towards underpass underneath the smoke. Is Fur going to fall for this? Flashbang comes out. SK on top of their game, using the flashbang to get him into position. But look at the utility that SK has left. They don't have much. 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs, and 2 Molotovs.
It's a good setup across the board as well for Renegades. They have a lot of info into mid. Az is just having a peek. Jacob's still here as well, and Nifty at least hanging around. But Fur could be the one that opens this up for SK. He is definitely having a look in there. Jacob not making the mistake of peeking his head up. In the end, Ustilo goes for a push into apartments, looking for info. And he gets some info. Not the kind that he wants.
He's had success with that push in the past, though, so it's hard to criticize him too much. That's been a play that he's made a couple times that has given a lot of information over to Renegades. Obviously, this time, it's unfortunate that he goes down and puts his team in a tough spot. Mid control completely and utterly in the favor of SK, and they were able to just walk casually wherever they want to go. This is going to be a split towards the B bomb site. The only thing that Renegades have going for them at the moment is this flank from JKS. He's in T-spawn, but Stewie's going to check it. This is a huge fight that JKS has to win in the jump. Throws him off. Stewie going to take the fight. He's committed here, but a nice headshot from JKS. 2 players defending inside the B bomb site as well.
It's just Azza now actually left on the B side, and that's a very, very critical kill. 20 seconds on the clock here. Bomb still not yet in the site for SK. Azza can win this round for Renegades, but SK, they still have the opening that they need, and Cold Zero finds the kill onto Azza. The bomb going down now. It's a 2v2. Nifty and JKS looking to save the game for Renegades. If this round doesn't go their way, it's, again, going to be a tough slog back into things. And they're just waiting, biding their time. No utility really here for Renegades, just a single flash. Nifty's going to pop it out into the B bomb site. And SK know now there is going to be a push coming, but Renegades don't have much time to play with. They have no idea where these Ts are. The timer is running out, and they are not going to be able to win this one. Surely Nifty already on the defuse, and Fallen, he shuts it down. That's round over. There's nothing that JKS can do. And SK Gaming, they'll put them through to match point.
It's not over yet, though. SK, they're at 15. Renegades have to win 5 in a row. They've done it previously in this half, and the money on the SK side is not great. No one over $3,900. It's not like they're going to have any kind of a stellar buy to write home about. And on the other hand, the Renegades had the money built up to sustain that kind of a loss. They're going to have the op back in Nifty's hands. It is backs against the wall. It's no more losses, obviously, for Renegades, but they have the tools to take control of this map down the stretch. At least in the sense of these last 5 rounds, take control of it economically in order to make this comeback happen.
Tense times now for Renegades, and even to an extent, I would say, for SK as well. They don't want to allow Renegades to come back into this one. Just want to close it out 2-0, but
I feel like Fur's gone a little bit quiet on this T side. When we were talking about how well he played in the first half, he was at, what, 20 kills, I want to say, at halftime? Something
close
like
to
that.
it, yeah.
He's only at 22 now, so we haven't seen a whole lot of impact at him. coldzera and Suey not far behind now at 20. Fallen both at 16. For the Renegades, it's just JKS who's just been a boss. 28 and 18 for him. His next closest teammate is Jacob with 15. JKS, the only positive kill death player in the squad. With the op towards middle, once again looking for something. SK has done a phenomenal job of keeping him out of the action. Flashbangs have been brutal in middle. He's going to rotate away from the window. Bolts lurking over towards Palace. No indication of where this is coming. It's looking like SK once again just want to take mid control. And they're going to get it. Yeah, they're going to get it.
they haven't really explored window actually all that much on this T side so far. So this might not be something that Renegades is ready for, or I lie for a moment. As it does check, Fur goes down. So Renegades, they avoid sort of a dangerous position there for SK. coldzera though, he knows that Azza is coming. Gets the trade back 4v4. coldzera down fairly low though. All in all, Renegades have done some damage over to SK at least. Some bolts. That's a critical frag for Jacob.
And it's unfortunate. You can see SK that they have to take these fights. They didn't have the nades. They don't have the utility. There's another smoke out like that from Stewie, but the Molotov forces them to run away from it. So Nifty has actually been pulled towards that A bomb site. It's just he's still over in B, and SK have no nades left. These duels have been solid attempts and pretty much the only option they have, and slowly they're being whittled down. Smoke allowing them cover to make this boost happen as they walk slowly into the B bomb site. You still are not even checking. Stewie's going to be close up, and Nifty's here. He can answer the call, and he does with the first shot. Now coldzera gets over towards Dark. Ustillo is pinned down behind the bench. He's being spammed, and Nifty's in a new location to hold the cross, hold the line, and Fallen trying to push forward. Isn't going to be able to do it. 3 kills for Nifty. Finally, we get to say his name as he's finding the proper position.
Time was running out there for SK. They really just had to continue that push on forward, and they ran right into the AWP that Nifty has presented for them. SK, this time the buy is not going to come out. It is going to be an eco. And this is the opportunity for Renegades to come back in here into this map, put it through to overtime. And from there on out, who knows what happens. It's still quite a few rounds to find, but Renegades have been doing a good job on their CT side so far. They just don't have any more chances left. You know, if they had another round to play with here, if it was 14-11, you would kind of feel like maybe there's a bit more of a chance for Renegades. But with SK needing only 1 round, I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
That's the way to play it. Look at Fur just running right through the smoke. He's found a big kill here to open things up, and that really isolates Nifty, forces him back. And Fur, we talked about him having a quiet half. He might just end it right here. He might have just done it with those 2 frags. Nifty needs to be aggressive with the op, but he just can't. Every fight he would take is a disadvantage, and he might be able to find Fur, but doesn't spot it. The bomb just now picked up.
On the same token, Fur might be able to find him. Not sure how Nifty's managed to pull that one out of his hand, but it's an important frag. Still traded straight away by Fallen, and he's been so good at that exact angle with the P250. That's, I think, the second time that he's managed to get rid of Nifty or another player there. But SK, they have a 2-player advantage. Ustillo trying desperately to hold on to this one for the Renegades, but it just seems like it's slipping through his fingers as Stewie pushes down, and that's going to be it. SK 2-0 over the Renegades, 16-11 on the second map. And the Renegades will bow out of Dallas.
Oh, they're making the comeback happen, and then it's just Fur walking right through a smoke with the CZ to end it. 2 big kills from him after a quiet second half, but no louder play than that one. Really nice performance from SK. An admirable attempt from Renegades, but again, just slow starts in this series killed them on both maps.
Yep, not enough done by the Renegades. SK go through, and we'll go through to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Elfish Guy and Moses there, your commentary duo to guide you through. And it is a quick 2-0, despite Renegades doing what they do best, getting close. Not close enough. This 2-0 will be the last game they play here in Dallas. SK closing out on Mirage. Chad and Yanko, your resident analysts. And gents, you expected to see SK come out on top of this one. Is there anything out of all the ordinary in this result, in this performance, in these maps?
I just think with Renegades, guys, it's time and time again that they go into matchups. They only manage to get 2 to 3 rounds, especially on, like, we've seen it on Mirage several times in the last couple of months. And then they make a really good comeback. You know, they show some form on the CT side, but just win a couple more T rounds, boys. You might actually have a shot at winning some games. You can't rely on comebacks time and time again like this. It's so much pressure. And they're not a team of caliber that have played at the level where they can convert on a regular basis versus stars like coldzera, Fur, Fallen, these guys who know how to do it. They're actually synonymous with comebacks. And
I do have to say, you know, time after time, Yanko, Chad, we both find ourselves, we talk about JKS, we talk about how influential he can be in a game. I can't help but feel this is one of the biggest examples I've seen recently, Yanko, of just how capable he is of taking matters into his own hands.
Yeah, he had a great performance, and still it wasn't enough to get more than 2 rounds in the first half on that T side. Another poor half from Nifty as well, really. And I think the problem for Renegades is, you know, their style, there's a lot of defaults, taking like map control, but I think this is where it's the clear difference when Naf was on the lineup. When he was on the team, he would make some moves in that mid-round once they take map control that would open up so much space, like get some crucial kills, and it would make it easier for Renegades to close out rounds. Here it feels like, because they don't have a guy like that, really, I mean, JKS to an extent, he's a bit more passive maybe, you know, they're forced to go into these executes, because when they go into an SK style of a round of the T side where they take map control and then, you know, want to squeeze their opponents out, their individuals just aren't able to execute it properly.
I have the stats just quickly before I lose them. Opening duels, he participated in 7, he won 6 of them, 8 multi-kill rounds, 28 frags, and the highest ADR in the server with 97. So basically the strongest player in the server on both sides.
Just to build on Yanko's point, I think the player that you're looking for there, Yanko, needs to be Azza. Obviously, that means you still needs to be finding the entry frags, and that then can't fall to Azza's responsibility. I don't know what Jacob's, I guess, T-side role really is. It's not a closer. He just needs to make the solid kills, which, you know, he has done. You saw on the pistol round in the game kickoff that he almost won that round quite fashion, but he's not the same level of star as a NAF. And I want to like draw the attention now to SK, because this change on their CT side, I think it's fantastic. Putting Fur at catwalk, he can still have his aggression, which he had with Connector, but you're muted a little bit because you get to that position later. So you're not going to be overextending all the time, but they were very dynamic with their mid control, and I like to see that. Another thing which I think is very positive is having coldzera as the A anchor, because he's the type of guy that's going to innovate a position to make it comfortable for him. He's always going to make a decision which is going to pay dividends. He's always going to get a kill. And that's great to see. He's not just playing in a one and done spot under balcony, he's playing off angles, always playing off his teammates, always making the right decision, and that's what you need, especially with that A bomb site. Retaking is something which is going to happen time and time again.
It is interesting, especially because considering how powerful he was on B as well. I guess it's coldzera, where no matter where you put him. We do have an opportunity now to hear from Stewie, and I mean, imagine he's going to be feeling pretty good after that one. We've got Stunner standing by in the players area with a successful Stewie.
A successful Stewie, indeed. I do have young Jackie Yip here. Now, obviously, things are looking a little bit differently. That was pretty easy, one might say.
Yeah, I think Cash, we like Cash, and we know it's their best map, but we practiced against them before, and we know that we're better than them on Cash. But Mirage is a little shaky for us still, and you can tell that even on T-side, no matter our lead, we still have to take it 100%. So good thing we closed it out this time.
Well, you never want to be 50%, Stewie. You never want to do that. And more importantly, I think for you guys, it's more about finding the rhythm, or finding, one might even say, the rhyme, right? So what is going on within the camp right now that was different from yesterday?
I think we came with more energy, I guess, this game. It's still a little early for us, so we started off kind of slow, I think. But we got the rhythm going on Cash, and we got the rhythm going on CT side on Mirage. But T side, we're still a little shaky, and we're trying to get that fixed up with Cold. So once we find that, I think our rhythm will be complete.
Rhythm will be complete. Well, Stewie, I got one more question for you. I think you're going to be going on to face Optic. Is there anything that you would like to say to anyone at all before you get into that matchup?
Well, it's a new lineup. We don't know much about them, so we're going to try to just play our own game, and hopefully we can shut them down and just play our own game. Hashtag Greywall.
Hashtag Greywall. Starting new trends out here. Thank you, Stewie. We do appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to Alex.
Thank you very much. Hashtag Greywall.
Just quickly, if 8-0 up is a slow start, I would hate to see what a strong start is.
Yeah, I mean, he says he started slow on Cash. Maybe it was like in
He started
general.
slow personally.
Maybe that's what it was.
But they weren't
yeah.
even coming to his bomb site, so I don't know what he wanted to do.
I'm not really sure.
I did see he was like 0-3, and the SK was 6 or 7-0 up. He just wasn't seeing anyone.
Yeah,
About that, man.
You caught on the rotate, you know, what are you going to do? But still, I'm actually very intrigued, and we will be taking a break, don't panic, but I do want to quickly talk a little bit about that, the fact that SK and Optic is going to be a matchup now. And he says, you know, we don't know anything about them, play our own game for the 900th time in an interview, but in general, I actually am very intrigued by the way Optic have been performing.
Yeah, because they, you know, knocked out NIP and they thrashed Space Soldiers in their own game. I think they had 12 T-sided rounds on Nuke. So, you know, obviously SK is going to veto that map, but they've shown some good stuff even on maps like Inferno. That is potentially their pick against a team like SK, you know, another Cash Inferno. I'm not sure what Optic Gaming's veto is at the moment. Might be Cash. That's something that Snappy avoided in Heroic too. So might be a bit more difficult for SK definitely than it was versus Renegades here.
Yeah, it's actually really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. And something you can look forward to is checking out the MDL. Do be sure to do it. It's nice and easy to do. So just go to esea.net/MDL, and that's the league underneath the Pro League. It's where you see those rising up and coming stars, which we often find ourselves talking about on analyst desks these days. And you can see all those players, all those teams, and all that good stuff over at that URL. For now, we will be taking a break because after it, we have got quite the game for you to enjoy. We have FaZe Clan taking on Na'Vi for a spot in the semi-finals. It's all going down on this stream, and you don't want to miss it.